Mainly during early to mid development of DRG, the developers would experiment with interesting equipment and upgrades. I'll start off with unused equipment. First, I want to touch upon the one thing I won't be able to show off in game at the moment: RopeGun. I have talked to a few developers about its functionality. Really, in the most basic sense, this thing acts like a zipline that you can fire vertically, effectively making it a sci-fi rope with minimal effort. Next, we have something that used to linger in the game files for a long time: the ForceBarrier. This was originally a buildable for Scout, which acts like a portable force field. At this time, they were experimenting with defensive buildings, but it was all too complicated due to the dynamic combat, instead went with crowd control weaponry. Let me just say, this thing is incredibly underwhelming. The creatures will literally walk around it, so I have no idea if it actually damages them. I even tried putting myself in a ForceBarrier cubicle and the results were, well, pretty lame. Now we're coming to the foam gun, which is an interesting take on the platform gun. It quickly shoots out small spherical platforms, allowing you to swiftly construct a path or block off any holes. In later builds, it's... oh god, what's that awful noise? This next weapon might actually be the first gun of the entire game, as we can see it in some extremely early builds they showcased once. I was still able to get my hands on it, but you'll notice a lot of the effects are missing, like the rotating cylinder for example. This shotgun revolver thing's name is Super Shotgun. Contrary to my own belief, this firearm is... well, look for yourself. Whether it was this weak in the early builds is unknown, but here it's just really a single shot Warthog if anything. Now we cut to something way more exciting, the rocket launcher. It can rapidly output green rockets, which cause an impressive amount of damage in a small radius. But it's really weak against stationary targets. Once the launcher is empty, the reload time is quite lengthy, assumedly in an attempt to make up for the rapid damage. Oh yeah, the model is a giant grenade launcher. Next up, we have the auto pistol. And like the name implies, it really is just a fast-firing pistol with a larger clip. This one kinda did make a comeback as an overclock for the Subata. I hope I said that right. Moving away from the pistol, we have the Zapper. It's another buildable which was pure experimentation. What class this would have been for, or whether it was gonna be a support drop, is completely unknown. Upon being deployed, it'll zap whatever creatures move into its radius. The more zappers, the higher DPS. Next we have the RGDLauncher, and I have a lot to share about this one. Oh, RGD stands for Remote Grenade Detonator. First, it started off as a sticky bomb launcher. You place down these discs and then you detonate with R. Then it received an update where a cube was added indicating the current mode. In blue mode, the now blue spheres will propel players up when detonated from the right distance. Players are also able to fly further by stacking multiple spheres. In red mode, the spheres will detonate into a lethal explosion. These spheres can be attached to nearly everything. Hell, you can turn Mule into a bomb if you really wanted to. With that said, there's one question I purposefully didn't answer yet. Which class would this belong to? What if I told you it's not for engineer, or driller, or gunner, or... you get the point. It was experimentation done more as a side thing for a demolitionist class. Please bear in mind this was all done in 2018 when they were still thinking about adding more classes to the game. This does not mean there's a good chance any new class will ever get added. And the demolitionist class was actually a thing in an early prototype of an extremely similar project. We'll get around to that hopefully soon-ish. So with that deep history out of the way, let's touch on something really dumb. The filthy cheat gun. As you probably have guessed, it's just a minigun that instantly kills everything. It seems to have been a cheap solution for erasing enemies out of the cave, since now they can just toggle them off. Now, let's take a look at some other things, starting off with cut or unused upgrades. This upgrade is for the platform gun. As it states in the description, it will reshape the platforms into cubes as seen here. Although it fulfills its platform purposes less, it is able to block off horizontal holes faster. The other upgrade is wider platforms, and yeah, it's just the same platforms but wider. I'm sure this would have been the meta upgrade if it would have made it in. Oh, the placeholder foam effects. Here we have some pickaxe upgrades, one better known upgrade being the one less hit terrain for Driller's pickaxe, which kinda turned into the buff drink we have at the bar now. The other two upgrades accidentally slipped into an experimental build a while ago. One is for boosting how much nitro the user would mine. I try to make a comparison, but this could be inconsistent since each hit gets us a different amount of ore. I'm glad this one didn't make it in actually. Having one dwarf dedicated to mining all the nitro would just be plain stupid. Second one is for reducing the required amount of hits to mine resources, so one hit gold had a chance of making a comeback. Now, a quick look at some of the early stuff. I'll call this the holdable pickaxe. During Update 4's creation, the developers experimented with a pickaxe you could equip just like a weapon. In this particular build, the right mouse button does absolutely nothing. You can only bring up the pickaxe by pressing Q. Then mine or damage anything with the left mouse button, and if you time it properly, you'll be able to achieve super Q mining. The original sentry gun used to act pretty differently. Setting it up would take quite a while and you wouldn't be able to recall it. Recalling the sentry gun didn't become a thing until Update 7. The sentry was also pretty weak to today's standards, requiring more than 1 or 2 shots to kill swarmers, and when it runs out of ammo it'll simply vanish. Then we have the original minigun, which seemingly had instant maximum accuracy and would have to be reloaded. The reload part was kinda brought back for the autocannon. It's also worth mentioning each class had nothing but a frag grenade before the unique lineup we have now. Well, save for Scout, who did get an IFG in Update 7. Here's what might be the earliest iteration of the SMG. It really just seems like it outputs a decent amount of damage. Don't know what else to say. With that, there is also what's likely the earliest iteration of the shield generator. You could kind of just place it down like a building and it would provide you with a safety zone. The functionality from here is pretty much the same with more bugs. And lastly, the drills can actually dig red sugar. In Update 4, of course. Instead of actually consuming it, the drills will just straight up destroy them. In the pre-alpha, you could destroy gold with the drills.